welcome to the deep dive. You know how we're always on the lookout for something beyond the ordinary, those truly unique experiences that just kind of stick with you?
Yeah, totally.
Well, we've unearthed some really fascinating possibilities from our sources today, event venues that are less about, well, beige walls and more about, shall we say, legendary backdrops.
Mm.
We're diving into the reality of hosting events at Dracula's Castle and also the filming location for Nevermore from the Wednesday series.
Exactly. And I think the immediate thing that might strike you, especially with Dracula's Castle, is the image that just pops into your head. You know, Transylvania, it conjures up a certain mystique, maybe even a feeling of being like super remote or difficult to access.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But our sources paint a very different picture, and this is like really crucial to understand right from the start. Transylvania, where Dracula's castle actually is, it's part of Romania, a modern European nation.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised, actually, to learn just how safe, clean, and easily reachable Romania is today. Forget those, outdated stereotypes. We're talking about a contemporary travel destination.
That's right. I mean, if we look at the practicalities, the flight connections to Romania are, well, they're excellent. Bucharest, the capital, has direct flights from a huge number of cities across Europe and globally, too.
Wow, okay.
And even for those coming from further afield, connecting through major European hubs like Munich or Vienna is incredibly straightforward. So getting there is surprisingly smooth. Really smooth.
Okay, so picture your group's adventure, beginning right there in Bucharest. Our sources highlight a really interesting intro to the city itself, sort of a blend of elegant Art Nouveau architecture alongside some powerful Soviet-era structures.
Right, that contrast.
Yeah, you even get to see the Palace of Parliament, which incredibly is the second largest administrative building on the planet.
Yeah.
It really sets the scene. You're in a modern, vibrant place, but with this rich history right there.
It immediately reframes any notion of Romania being some, far-flung, inaccessible land.
Totally.
It establishes it as a dynamic European country with a fascinating past and present. And from there, the journey towards the Carpathian Mountains and Dracula's castle begins. It's presented as this transition from a modern urban experience to something truly, well, iconic.
And this is where it becomes really compelling if you're thinking about team building, maybe a conference, a special social gathering, and anything where you want to create a real buzz and, leave a lasting impression.
Uh-huh.
Because our source material argues that Dracula's castle offers an unparalleled experience. Now, the name might conjure up images of, like, discomfort, maybe bats.
Yeah, cold stone walls.
Exactly. But the reality, according to our sources, is surprisingly comfortable and genuinely engaging.
What's fascinating here is the way they've apparently managed to weave together the historical weight of the legend, the undeniable atmosphere of a medieval castle, with a really welcoming and functional environment for events. It's not just about passively touring a historic site. It's about actively participating in unique activities within that incredible setting.
Think about kickoff activities instead of the usual icebreakers. Right. How about an immersive treasure hunt that actually takes you through the castles, like labyrinthine passages? That's a team-building exercise with a serious twist.
Wow, yeah.
And then they mention wine tastings, complete with live music, all within the castle walls. It's certainly a far cry from your standard conference agenda, isn't it?
Absolutely. Definitely not the usual hotel ballroom. And if you want to incorporate some outdoor adventure, they also offer things like bear safaris and guided hikes in the breathtaking Carpathian Mountains. So there's a real range of options.
Look, it caters to different interests.
Yeah, exactly. Different activity levels within your group.
And it sounds like the atmosphere they cultivate is really key. Our sources talk about, like, sparkling wine receptions to welcome guests, cozy and inviting spaces within the castle itself, not cold and spooky, apparently, plus little touches like homemade coffee that, make a difference.
Those small things matter.
They do. And then the themed dinners, they lean into the Dracula story, but with a touch of captivating mystery. So it's intriguing and memorable without being, well, unsettling. Hopefully.
Right. Intriguing, not terrifying. It really suggests they've put a lot of thought into crafting an overall experience that is both unique and genuinely enjoyable. And this brings us to a crucial point for you, our listener, especially if you're in the business of planning events: the price-worthiness.
Yes. the budget question.
Because the truly remarkable thing here is that you can actually rent Dracula's castle for your event.
Let that sink in for a moment. It's not just a tour, it's the opportunity to host your colleagues, your clients, your friends inside Dracula's castle.
Mm-hmm.
Our source material points out that while their example program has a starting price, they also create tailor-made programs that can be adapted to different budgets, ranging from more straightforward options to, truly exclusive experiences.
Right. So while it's undoubtedly a premium and unique offering, the fact that it's even a possibility to have this world-famous landmark as the backdrop for your event speaks volumes about the kind of unforgettable memories you could create. It sort of transcends being just a venue. It becomes an integral part of the story you're telling.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think that inherent narrative of Dracula's castle, even a comfortable and welcoming version of it, could have on attendees compared to, say, a generic hotel ballroom?
Oh, that's a great point. It's the power of the narrative, isn't it? Attendees aren't just participating in a meeting or a social gathering, they're literally stepping into a legend.
Exactly.
And that shared experience, that unique backdrop, is something that's inherently more memorable and, I guess, likely to foster stronger connections. It's moving beyond the functional to the truly experiential.
Exactly. And our sources suggest this isn't an isolated case of surprising event potential in Romania. The journey back towards Bucharest, as mentioned, includes a stop at Cantacuzino Castle, which you might recognize.
Ah, yes. The Nevermore Academy from the Netflix series Wednesday.
That's the one. And again, this kind of flips our expectations. Just like Dracula's castle, it's described as being surprisingly cozy and set amidst these ravishing landscapes.
Ravishing landscapes. Wow. Not the gloomy Gothic setting you might initially imagine from the show.
Nope. It really reinforces this theme of Romania offering these incredibly appealing and accessible modern experiences, kind of layered within its rich history and cultural touchstones. And the thought of enjoying a coffee with those panoramic views of the Carpathian Mountains from the Nevermore location,
Yeah.
that's a pretty unique networking opportunity, or just a memorable way to conclude an event.
It paints a vivid picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Romania isn't just about historical intrigue and spooky legends. It's a modern, well-connected country, offering these incredibly unique and memorable venues for all sorts of events and gatherings. So, considering these two very different yet equally compelling locations, Dracula's castle with its legendary status and surprising comfort, and Cantacuzino Castle with its cinematic connection and stunning scenery, it really makes you think.
It does, and it leads to a fascinating question for you, our listener. What other historical or iconic locations around the world might hold similarly surprising potential for unique and accessible experiences, just, waiting to be reimagined and utilized in unexpected ways? Perhaps there are castles in Scotland, ancient ruins in Italy, or even famous movie sets elsewhere that offer possibilities we haven't even considered yet. It's about looking beyond the conventional and seeing the potential for truly unforgettable experiences in places steeped in history and story.